You know that feeling when you step into a fancy hotel and feel like a king? Now imagine that, but floating, and with a helipad and a submarine. Welcome to the world of super yachts, where the rich and famous drop hundreds of millions on their floating palaces. Let's check out the top 15. Bravo Eugenia. Jerry Jones, the guy who owns the Dallas Cowboys, did just that. And let me tell you, his yacht is nothing short of a nautical touchdown. Meet Bravo Eugenia, a floating paradise that Jerry named after his wife. This bad boy isn't just big, it's massive. We're talking 109 meters of pure luxury. That's longer than a football field. And get this, it's got not one but two helicopter pads. Because why settle for one when you can have a pair, right? But here's where it gets really crazy. This yacht isn't just about showing off. It's like Jerry brought his playbook to the shipyard. The Bravo Eugenia is decked out with a spa, a steam room, a sauna, and a gym. It's like a floating 5-star resort. You could literally spend weeks on this thing and never get bored. Now you might be thinking, sure, it's big and fancy, but can it move? Oh boy, can it ever. This beast can hit speeds of 17.5 knots. That's pretty darn fast for something the size of a small cruise ship. It's powered by these monster MTU engines, each cranking out 2,920 horsepower. That's like strapping a couple of race cars to a yacht. But here's the real kicker. Jerry didn't just go for flash, he went for smarts too. The Bravo Eugenia's got this fancy heat and energy recovery system, plus an integrated battery setup. It's like a Tesla, but for the ocean. This isn't just a yacht, it's a floating eco-warrior. And let's not forget about the beach club and plunge pool, because when you're out in the middle of the ocean, why not have your own private beach? It's like Jerry said, hey, I want to bring the best parts of land onto the water. And boy, did he deliver. Now you might be wondering how much this floating football stadium cost. Well, let's just say it's in the ballpark of $250 million. Yeah, that's right. $250 million. That's enough to buy a small island, but Jerry decided to build his own instead. Al Mirkab. This bad boy belongs to Qatar's former Prime Minister, Hamad bin Jassim bin Jaber Al Thani. And let me tell you, this guy knows how to live large. The Al Mirkab isn't just a boat, it's a whole city on water. We're talking 133 meters of pure luxury. That's like stacking 3 football fields end to end and then some. But size isn't everything, right? Well, this yacht's got the goods to back it up. It's got 10 guest suites that'll make your house look like a closet. Each one's got its own bathroom, living room, and double bedroom. It's like having 10 5-star hotel rooms floating on the ocean. And if you think that's fancy, wait till you hear about the VIP suites. The Al Mirkab's got 2 of these bad boys, and they're so luxurious they make the other suites look like economy class. Now you might be wondering who's taking care of all this. Well, the Al Mirkab's got a crew of 60 people. That's right, 60 folks just to make sure everything's running smooth. It's like having a small town's worth of people at your service. But here's where it gets really crazy. This yacht's got amenities that'll make your jaw drop. We're talking a cinema, because why not catch a movie while you're cruising the Mediterranean? It's got outside bars for when you want to feel the ocean breeze while sipping on your fancy cocktail. And get this, it's got an indoor swimming pool and an outdoor jacuzzi. Because sometimes you want to swim without the salt, and other times you want to soak while watching the sunset. It's like having your own private water park on board. Oh, and did I mention the helicopter pad? Yeah, in case you get bored of the ocean and want to take to the skies. Now you might think a boat this big must be slow as molasses, but you'd be wrong. This beast can cruise at 21 knots and hit a top speed of 23 knots. That's pretty darn fast for something that's basically a floating palace. The Al Mirkab spends most of its time chilling around Athens, Greece. So if you're ever in the neighborhood, keep an eye out for this monster of luxury. Just don't get too close or you might get blinded by all that opulence. Dilbar. Introducing you, Dilbar, the floating giant that's got everyone's jaws dropping. This beast belongs to Russian billionaire Alisher Usmanov, and let me tell you, this guy knows how to go big or go home. Dilbar isn't just a yacht, it's a whole other level of luxury. We're talking 156 meters of pure opulence. That's longer than 1.5 football fields. But here's the kicker. Dilbar isn't just long, it's also one of the largest yachts by volume. It's like Usmanov said, hey, I don't just want the longest yacht, I want the fattest one too. And boy, did he get it. Now you might be thinking, sure, it's big, but what's inside? Well, hold on to your hats, folks, because this is where it gets crazy. Dilbar's got a full-size swimming pool. Yeah, you heard that right. Not a kiddie pool, not a plunge pool, but a full-size pool that would make your local YMCA jealous. It's the largest pool ever put on a yacht. I mean, who needs the ocean when you've got your own private oasis? But Usmanov didn't stop there. Nope, he went all out with a spa area that'll make you forget you're even on a boat. We're talking a sauna, a steam room, and enough space to fit a small army of masseuses. It's like a floating wellness retreat for billionaires. Now you might be wondering, how the heck do you fit all this stuff on a boat? Well, that's where the real magic happens. The engineering on this thing is out of this world. They had to completely rethink how to build a yacht to make all these crazy features work. And get this, Dilbar's got a crew of 96 people. That's right, 96 folks just to keep this floating palace running smooth. It's like having a small town's worth of people at your beck and call. But here's the real mind-bender. This thing can actually move. Yep, despite being bigger than some cruise ships, Dilbar can hit speeds of 22.5 knots. That's faster than some speedboats. It's got a diesel-electric power plant that's so advanced it makes other yacht engines look like they're running on hamster wheels. Pelorus. First off, let's talk size. Pelorus is 115 meters long. That's like lining up 38 pickup trucks end to end. And get this, it's got not one but two helipads. Because why land one chopper when you can land two, right? Now you might be thinking, sure, it's big, but what's it look like? Well, picture this. Sleek lines, a white hull that gleams like a pearl, and decks that stretch out forever. It's the kind of boat that makes other yachts green with envy. But here's where it gets really crazy. The inside of this thing is like a floating 5-star hotel. We're talking custom furniture that probably costs more than your house. And the suites, they've got bathrooms that'll make your local spa look like a gas station restroom. Pelorus can fit 22 guests and 42 crew members. That's right, there are almost twice as many people working on the boat as there are enjoying it. Talk about service, huh? But wait, there's more. This yacht's got more toys than a rich kid's playroom. There's a big swimming pool, because sometimes you just don't want to swim in the ocean like a peasant. It's got water toys galore, a spa with a sauna and steam room, and even a gym. Because nothing says luxury like pumping iron while cruising the Mediterranean. Now let's get back to that ownership drama I teased earlier. Pelorus has been passed around more than a collection plate at church. It was built for a Saudi businessman, then sold to a Russian billionaire. Then it went to his ex-wife in their divorce. After that, it was bought by David Geffen, the music mogul. And now, who knows, it's like a game of musical chairs, but with billion-dollar boats. And here's a fun fact for you. Pelorus gets its name from the Greek word for vast. No kidding. I guess big old boat didn't have the same ring to it. But don't let all this luxury fool you. This beauty can move. It can cruise at 18 knots, which is pretty darn fast for something bigger than most people's neighborhoods. It's got a steel hull and aluminum superstructure, making it tough enough to handle long voyages. And it's packed with high-tech navigation gear that'd make NASA jealous. Rising Sun. Talking about Rising Sun, the floating playground of media mogul David Geffen. This ain't just any old yacht. It's a slice of Tinseltown on the high seas. Now, Geffen's not your average billionaire. He's the guy who co-founded DreamWorks and has his fingers in more entertainment pies than you can count. So when he decided to get a yacht, you know it had to be something special. And boy, did he deliver. Rising Sun is 138 meters of pure luxury. That's longer than a football field and then some. But size ain't everything. It's what's inside that counts. And this baby's got it all. We're talking multiple lounges, a spacious dining room, and get this, a wine cellar. Because nothing says I'm rich like having a wine cellar on a boat. But here's where it gets crazy. Rising Sun's got a basketball court. No, really, a full-on basketball court that doubles as a helipad. It's like Geffen said, I want to play hoops, but I also want to land my chopper. And the designer was like, say no more, fam. Now you might be thinking, sure, it's got a basketball court, but can I watch movies? Well, of course you can. Rising Sun's got its own movie theater. Because when you're a Hollywood big shot, you got to be able to screen your latest blockbuster while cruising the Mediterranean. But it ain't all about entertainment. This yacht's got wellness covered too. There's a gym, a spa, and a sauna. It's like a floating health club, but way fancier. And if you want to catch some rays, there are tons of decks for sunbathing and outdoor dining. It's basically a 5-star resort that can move. Speaking of moving, this beast can cruise at 28 knots. That's pretty darn fast for something that's basically a floating city. It's got 4 powerful engines that could probably power a small country. But the real magic of Rising Sun isn't just in its features, it's in its guest list. This yacht has seen more celebrities than the Oscars' red carpet. It's played host to some of the biggest names in Hollywood, from actors to musicians to tech billionaires. The parties on this thing are legendary. It's like the coolest VIP lounge you've ever seen, but it's in the middle of the ocean, Al said. Al Said is a monster at 155 meters long. That's like 1.5 football fields floating on water. But it's not just big, It's packed with more luxury than you can shake a gold-plated stick at. Let's start with that concert hall I teased. This thing can fit a 50-piece orchestra. You heard that right. While other rich folks are happy with the sound system, Sultan Qaboos went and built a whole concert venue on his yacht. It's like he said, why listen to recorded music when I can have a live performance whenever I want? But that's not all. This floating palace has got more tricks up its sleeve. It's got luxurious lounges that'll make your living room look like a cardboard box. There's a grand dining room where you can eat like royalty, because, well, you are. And if you're in the mood for a movie, there's a fully equipped cinema room, because sometimes you just need to watch the latest blockbuster while cruising the ocean. Now you might be thinking, sure, it's got a concert hall and a cinema, but can I relax? Well, do I have news for you? Al Said's got a spa with a steam room and sauna. It's like a floating wellness center. And if you're feeling energetic, there's a fully equipped gym, because nothing says luxury like pumping iron while watching dolphins swim by. But wait, there's more. This yacht's got a helipad because sometimes sailing just isn't fast enough. There's a large swimming pool for when you don't want to swim in the peasant-filled ocean, and multiple jacuzzis, because why have one when you can have several? Now you might be wondering how this floating city moves. Well, it's got twin diesel engines that can push it to a top speed of 22 knots. That's pretty darn fast for something that's basically a small town on water. But here's the real kicker. Al Said isn't just about showing off. It's a floating piece of Middle Eastern culture. In Oman, music and luxury go hand in hand. So this yacht isn't just a boat, it's a statement. It's Sultan Qaboos saying, this is who we are and this is how we roll. Radiant. A yacht that Fort Knox on water? We're talking about Radiant, a boat so secure it makes the Pentagon look like a pillow fort. Now you might be wondering who owns this floating fortress. Well, that's part of the mystery. The owner likes to keep things on the down low, but rumor has it, it's some big shot from the United Arab Emirates. Whoever they are, they sure know how to keep the paparazzi guessing. But let's talk about what makes Radiant so special. This bad boy is 110 meters long. That's like stacking 30 SUVs end to end. But it's not just big, it's built like a tank. We're talking military-grade security systems that make James Bond jealous. You want to know how serious they are about security? Radiant's got water cannons powerful enough to sink a pirate ship. No joke. It's like they took a fire truck, strapped it to a yacht and said, yeah, that'll keep the riffraff away. But don't think it's all guns and guards. Radiant's got a softer side too. It's packed with more spa stuff than a 5-star resort. You've got your jacuzzis, your massage rooms, even a beauty salon. It's like they decided, hey, we might be paranoid, but we're gonna look good doing it. And get this, there's a fully equipped gym on board, because nothing says I'm ready for anything, like being able to bench press while cruising the Mediterranean. Now let's talk about the fun stuff. Radiant's got more water toys than a rich kid's bathtub. We're talking jet skis, speedboats, and even a mini submarine. Yeah, you heard that right. A submarine. Because sometimes you just need to escape the surface world and chill with the fishes. But here's the real kicker. Radiant's got a main salon with a grand piano. So you can tickle the ivories while watching for pirates through bulletproof windows. It's like they wanted to combine the pianist with Captain Phillips. And don't even get me started on the cinema room. It's so high-tech it probably makes IMAX look like a flipbook. You could have a full-on movie premiere on this thing and no one would know the difference. Super Yacht A. This cool, unbelievable yacht belongs to a Russian billionaire, Andrei Melnichenko. And let me tell you, this guy's got a vision that's out of this world. He looked at all the other fancy yachts out there and said, nah, too boring. I want something that'll make people's jaws drop. And boy, did he get it. Super Yacht A is 119 meters of pure, what the heck am I looking at? It's got this wild inverted hull that looks like a knife cutting through the water. No kidding, it's so sharp you might get a paper cut just looking at it. But here's where it gets really crazy. This thing's got a glass-bottomed pool right above a disco. Yeah, you heard that right. You can be swimming and looking down at people getting their groove on. It's like being in two places at once, but way fancier. Now you might be thinking, sure, it looks cool, but what's it like inside? Well, hold on to your hats, because it's just as wild in there. The interior's all minimalist and futuristic with mirrors and glass everywhere. It's like being inside a diamond, but comfier. And get this, the master suite's got a rotating bed. Why? I don't know, but when you're this rich, why not? It's also got bulletproof glass, because I guess when you're this flashy, you gotta watch your back. But here's the real kicker. Super Yacht A is like the Marmite of the yacht world. People either love it or hate it. Some folks think it's the coolest thing since sliced bread, while others reckon it looks like a submarine had a baby with a stealth fighter. And you know what? That's exactly what Melnichenko wanted. He didn't just want a yacht, he wanted to shake up the whole industry. It's like he said, if I'm going to spend hundreds of millions on a boat, it better make some waves. And boy, did it ever. Serene. You thought a spaceship-looking yacht was wild? Well, get ready for a boat so fancy it's literally fit for a king. Or in this case, a prince. We're talking about Serene, the floating palace that had the world's jaws dropping when Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman scooped it up. Now, this ain't just any old yacht purchase. The prince reportedly dropped a cool $500 million on this bad boy. That's right, $500 million. For a boat. It's like he walked into a yacht dealership and said, "Give me the most expensive thing you've got." But what makes Serene so special? Well, for starters, it's huge. We're talking 134 meters of pure luxury. That's longer than a football field and then some. But it's not just big, it's packed with features that'll make your head spin. You want unique? How about a submarine that can dive 100 meters deep? Yeah, you heard that right. A submarine on a yacht? It's like they looked at a regular boat and thought, you know what this needs? The ability to go under the water too? And if that's not enough to float your boat, pun totally intended, Serene's got a seawater swimming pool. Because sometimes you want to swim in the ocean without actually being in the ocean. It's like they bottled up the Mediterranean and put it on deck. But here's where it gets really crazy. This yacht's got more outdoor space than some small towns. We're talking multiple decks, lounges, and even a beach club. Because when you're this rich, you don't go to the beach, you bring the beach to you. And get this, Serene's got not one but 2 helicopter landing pads, because why land one chopper when you can land 2? It's like they're saying, yeah, we've got room for your helicopter and your helicopter's helicopter. Now you might be thinking, sure, it's big and fancy, but what's it like inside? Well, hold on to your caviar, because it's just as wild in there. We're talking a spa, multiple pools, and even a snow room. Yeah, a snow room, on a boat, in the middle of the ocean. Dubai. Meet the floating emirate that'll make your jaw hit the floor. Now, you might be thinking, Dubai, isn't that a city? Well, yeah, but it's also the name of one of the most insane yachts ever built. And let me tell you, this thing is huge. We're talking 162 meters of pure luxury. That's longer than 1.5 football fields. But it's not just big. It's packed with more fancy stuff than you can shake a gold-plated stick at. This yacht's got room for 24 guests and a crew of 88. Yeah, you heard that right. It's got more staff than most hotels. Now, here's where it gets really crazy. Dubai's got this giant atrium that'll make your head spin. It's got a staircase made of glass, and get this, the lighting changes color. It's like having your own personal disco on a boat. But wait, there's more. This floating palace has got multiple swimming pools, hot tubs, and even a squash court. Because nothing says I'm rich like playing squash in the middle of the ocean. And if you're feeling a bit stressed from all that luxury, don't worry. Dubai's got a fully equipped spa and gym. You can get a massage while watching the waves roll by. It's like a 5-star resort, but it moves. Now you might be wondering, who's got enough cash to own something this ridiculous? Well, hold on to your hats, because this yacht belongs to none other than the ruler of Dubai himself. Yeah, when you're in charge of one of the fanciest cities in the world, you need a boat to match. But here's the real kicker. This thing isn't just for show. It can actually move. Dubai's got 4 engines that can push it to speeds of 26 knots. That's pretty darn fast for something that's basically a floating city. Kuru, we're diving into Bezos territory now, and this ain't your average Amazon delivery. Jeff Bezos, the guy who made online shopping a thing, decided he needed a new toy. And when you're worth billions, you don't just buy any old boat. No, you get yourself a yacht so fancy, it's got people losing their minds. Meet Kuru, Bezos' new floating palace. This thing's so big it makes other super yachts look like bath toys. We're talking 127 meters of pure luxury. That's longer than a football field. And get this, it's the world's largest sailing yacht. Because when you're Jeff Bezos, you don't just go big, you go biggest. Now you might be thinking, sure it's big, but what's it got inside? Well, hold on to your Prime memberships, because this boat's got more features than an Amazon warehouse. We're talking multiple lounges, fancy dining areas, and even spaces for business meetings. It's like Bezos took an office building, slapped some sails on it, and said, yeah, that'll do. But here's where it gets really wild. Kuru's got this sculpture on the front that looks just like Bezos' girlfriend. No joke. It's like he said, I want everyone to know whose boat this is and who I'm dating. Talk about a power move. Now you might be wondering, is this thing good for the environment? Well, Bezos thought of that too. Kuru's got all sorts of eco-friendly features. It's like he took a Tesla and made it float. The boat's even got these massive sails so it can use wind power instead of just burning fuel all day. But wait, there's more. Koru's got a support vessel called Abiona. Yeah, this yacht's so fancy it needs its own yacht to carry all its extra stuff. We're talking helicopters, smaller boats, and probably a bunch of other toys we can't even imagine. Now you'd think a boat this awesome would have everyone cheering. But nope, Koru stirred up more drama than a reality TV show. They had to take apart a historic bridge in the Netherlands just to get it out to sea. People were not happy. It's like Bezos looked at a 100-year-old bridge and said, "That's cute, but my boat's more important. Super Yacht A+. Now, let's talk about size. A Plus is a monster at 147 meters long. That's like lining up 40 SUVs end to end. It's so big it probably has its own zip code. And get this, it was built by Lürsen, the same folks who make yachts for other billionaires. It's like they're the Apple of the yacht world, but way fancier. But A+ ain't just big, it's beautiful too. The outside looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. It's got this sleek design that'll make your head spin. It's like someone took a spaceship, made it float and said, yeah, that looks about right. Now you might be thinking, sure, it looks cool, but what's inside? Well, hold on to your caviar, because this thing's got more luxury than a 5-star hotel. We're talking multiple jacuzzis, because why have one when you can have many? It's got a cutting-edge gym, so you can work off all that fancy food you've been eating. But here's where it gets really crazy. A Plus has got not one but 2 helicopter landing pads. No, really. It's like they thought, you know what this massive yacht needs? A place to park our flying machines. Actually, make that 2 places. And don't even get me started on the swimming pool. This thing's so big you could probably host the Olympics in it. It's like they took a regular pool, looked at it and said, nah, make it bigger, way bigger. But A+ ain't just about showing off. This yacht's got some serious muscle under the hood. It's powered by twin peel-stick diesel engines. No idea what those are, but they sound expensive. And they must be powerful because this floating palace can move at some pretty impressive speeds. Eclipse. No joke, this guy's got more boats than most people have shoes, but Eclipse, it's his crown jewel. Now let's talk about size. Eclipse is 162.5 meters long. That's like 2 football fields end to end. It's so big, it probably has its own weather system. And get this, it's got more security than Fort Knox. We're talking missile detection systems, bulletproof glass, and laser intruder detection. It's like Abramovich looked at a regular yacht and said, nah, make it James Bond proof. But Eclipse ain't just about safety. This thing's got more cool features than a Swiss Army knife. You want a pool? How about one that transforms into a dance floor? No, really. It's like they couldn't decide between a pool party and a rave, so they just said, why not both? And if that's not enough to float your boat, check this out. Eclipse has its own mini-submarine, because sometimes you just need to escape the surface world and chill with the fishes. It's like Abramovich thought. You know what this yacht needs? An underwater escape pod? Now you might be thinking, sure, it's big and fancy, but what's it like inside? Well, hold on to your caviar, because it's just as wild in there. We're talking multiple sumptuous suites, lounges, and entertainment areas. It's like they took a 5-star hotel and made it float. But here's the real kicker, the master suite. This thing's got its own private deck with panoramic views. It's like Abramovich said, I want to be able to see everything I own from my bedroom. And with a yacht this big, that's saying something. Eclipse ain't just a yacht, it's a trendsetter. It's got other billionaires looking at their boats and thinking, dang, I need to step up my game. It's the yacht that launched 1,000 copycats. Azam, come on, how much crazier can these yachts get? But trust me, Azam's about to blow your mind. This bad boy isn't just big, it's the longest private yacht in the world. We're talking 180 meters of pure, unadulterated luxury. That's longer than some cruise ships. But here's the real kicker. This thing isn't just long, it's fast. Like really fast. While other mega yachts are happy cruising along at a leisurely pace, Azam's out there leaving them in its wake. This beast can hit speeds that'll make you think you're on a speedboat, not a floating palace. Now you're probably wondering, who's got enough cash to own something this insane? Well, that's the million-dollar question, or should I say the billion-dollar question. The owner of Azam likes to keep things on the down low, but rumor has it it's some big shot from the United Arab Emirates. Whoever they are, they sure know how to make a splash. But let's talk about what makes Azam so special. This ain't your average yacht. The folks at Lürsen, the company that built this beast, didn't just make a boat. They made a floating marvel of engineering. It's like they took everything they knew about boats, threw it out the window and started from scratch. You want fancy? Azam's got it in spades. We're talking a stunning mosaic tiled swimming pool that'll make your local country club look like a kiddie pool. And get this, It's got a dedicated spa area complete with a hammam and massage rooms, because nothing says luxury like getting a massage while cruising at top speed. But Azam ain't just about looking pretty. This thing's got some serious muscle under the hood. It's powered by a combo of gas turbines and diesel engines that could probably power a small city, and all that power translates to speed. We're talking about a yacht that can hit remarkable speeds while still being stable enough to serve champagne without spilling a drop. History Supreme. History Supreme is about to redefine what you think is possible. This thing isn't just expensive, it's, I could buy a small country expensive. We're talking $4.8 billion. Yeah, you heard that right, that's billion with a B. But what makes this yacht so special? Well, it's not what's inside that counts, it's what it's made of. This bad boy is covered in precious metals and rare jewels. We're talking 100,000 kilograms of gold and platinum. It's like King Midas went crazy and decided to make a boat. Now you might be thinking, sure, it's covered in gold, but what's it got inside? Well, hold on to your wallets, because it's just as wild in there. The master bedroom, it's got a wall made from a meteorite. No, really, it's like they looked at regular walls and said, nah, too boring, let's use space rocks. But wait, there's more. This yacht's got a statue made from real T-Rex bones, because nothing says luxury like extinct dinosaurs, right? It's like they took Jurassic Park and MTV cribs and smashed them together. And if that's not enough to make your head spin, check this out. History Supreme's got the world's most expensive liquor bottle. This thing's covered in diamonds and has an 18.5 carat diamond on its neck. It's like they took a regular bottle and said, you know what this needs? More bling. Now you're probably wondering, who's got enough cash to own something this insane? Well, that's where things get tricky. Nobody knows for sure. Some say it's a Malaysian businessman, others say it doesn't even exist. It's like the Loch Ness monster of yachts. Everyone's talking about it, but nobody can prove they've seen it.